Good evening, guys. So in the last video I made, we got all the clutch all set up and all that stuff, and you saw I scrapped the steering column idea for now. So now I went and picked up these fenders today that are sitting beside the truck right now, because the fenders that were on the truck when I got it were really the only thing is, these fenders, like, they're the same width and all that. I've measured that part, but they're actually farm truck fenders, so the wheel openings are much bigger than the original pickup truck fenders. So I will end up cutting the wheel well opening, or the wheel opening out of the other fenders and grafting into these fenders here. But I got a much nicer grill as well, really super shape. So right now, for this video, what we're going to do is mock up the core support bracket that I saved off of the other frame. So we'll get the nose bolted on and everything, and then after we bolt it on, we'll jack it to where it needs to be or whatever, set it to where it needs to be so I can weld in brackets and stuff to make the old piece of frame fit my Nova subframe. So let's get to it. I set the fenders over the wheels for now. They're not bolted or anything like that. Obviously, you can see they're very crooked looking. I don't know if I had mentioned, but I got a different grill today and a different set of fenders. But both of them are off the farm truck. The grill is the same no matter if it's on a farm truck or a pickup truck, but the fenders are quite a bit different. So there'll be later modifications to the fenders, but they do bolt up the exact same way. So we're gonna try and get the grill bolted to the fenders and get the fenders lined up and even set the hood on it right now. That way we can mock up the subframe. So here we go. The grill is quite heavy, so I am only one person. So we'll do the best we can, but here we go. Alright, well, there's just a few bolts in and the nose is on. Yeah, it's really that quick. Kind of weird how they did it back then. But anyways, what we're going to try to do is fit the hood on there now. After putting the hood on, you can kind of see that there's no gap right there, and there's a gap right there. And you can see that the fender is not quite touching the step. So if you, let's see if you can see, yeah, you can see it from right here. Right now the hood is tilted up in the front and leaning towards the back, so that's telling me that it has to go lower, which I don't know if I'll be able to show you, but it's sitting on the Nova subframe right now. Oh, so that's my core support right there, and it's sitting right on top of the Nova subframe, which is not a big deal. I can cut that lip off of there and it will set right down. It's not really a big deal to cut that off, so we're gonna have to get that cut off to be able to do what we're trying to do here. So I'm gonna take it back apart and cut that lip off. So now that I got the grill back off, I'm gonna end up cutting it right here, along here, and like over here. That piece right there that is sitting right there, that was sitting right on top of the frame and keeping it a little too high, and that's just about the measurement I need. So I'm thinking I'm going to get away with just cutting this off right here. Now this support's made out of 1/8 inch steel, plus it's on this side too, you know, down here too. So cutting this off is not going to, I'm not going to lose no strength out of it. I'm not worried about like it being weak or anything. I'll show you where it was sitting though. It was sitting right here. So my plan is to get it to cut it down so it will sit lower, like on top of here. And then I was planning on using that piece of frame I saved from the original, but it sits so close to this that I'm probably just going to build a bracket that comes right out like that, and it will bolt on like right over here somewhere. So we're going to go ahead and get that piece cut off I just told you about and see, we'll test fit it again. Customized work, it's all trial and error, but we'll get there. I put the grill back in and it looks good on the other side, but I still got a big gap right here now. I did fit the hood back on it. That actually looked really nice. So it's sitting where it needs to sit, up and down, but forward or backwards, it obviously still needs to come backwards. The other side is sitting good, and this has got a big gap here, and you can kind of see where the original fenders went right here. So you know, those got to move back. So the next thing we got to do is I got a notch into the Nova frame. You see how that curves out a little bit. I'm going to have to notch into that and cut that out of there and get it to sit right. And after it does sit right, I'll box it back in the way it needs to be able to make a mount. But that's definitely what we got to do right now. So basically, I'm just going to make a straight line from, obviously that hole and that hole is going to be the same measurement. So I'm going to go in the middle of that and just go straight across and cut all that forward out of there, and then we'll get this nose to sit right, and then we'll end up making a mount the way we got to. The next problem that I'm seeing is it's not going to leave me much room for, I already planned on putting electric fans in no matter what anyways, because I knew it was going to be too far away. But even putting an electric fan on once I put my pulley on my motor, that's going to be a tough feat. So after I get that all set up and put in place, I'll stick a pulley on there and see how much room we got in between there. But either way, we'll definitely make something work. I could put a fan inside of here instead, from the inside, pushing instead of pulling. So that might be something I do. That's the thing about custom work. You always gotta, once you fix one problem, you got another problem. So Just keep sticking with it and keep plucking away. I cut the notch in the subframe and set it all back on. Now you can see the fenders actually fit right against the step. The body line looks good coming up all the way through. The hood has the exact same angle as the cab coming down all the way. So that's what it needs to look like. I'm very happy with that. And also remember, these are farm truck fenders, so they're going to be hanging lower because they're a tiny bit longer at the bottom. So we're going to have to, cut them off, and that big gap from there to there, that gets closed up when you put the truck fenders. It would be way more closed up. So later on, not that I need to get into it now because we're doing this, but just because I have this angle right now. Later on, I'm going to cut my old fenders off and graft the piece in right here from the truck fenders. It's the lesser of two evils because the truck fenders are in really, really bad shape. They're cracked really bad. They're rotted really bad. Just nothing. It'd be much easier to make these fenders work since they're pretty solid. So anyways, that's for another video, but just figured I'd say that because that gap looks ridiculous. So right now I'll take the hood off and show you what I did up front, and then we'll go from there. That's the notch I made right there. As you can see, this is my radiator core support right here, and this is the Nova subframe. So now what we'll do is I'm not going to put it on video because boring stuff, but I'll box this down and out to match that, and basically right where it's sitting right now, I don't know if I can get the camera right enough, but that is definitely the center because the way we set the motor in there and everything, that's definitely your center. So that hole in the center down there is center. So the hole in the middle, that one right there. Anyways, so we're going to end up drilling holes through that after we plate it and everything and make it sit right on top of that. And since I've been doing the mock-up, like the cab and the radius support is literally sitting on metal, but there will be a 1/2-inch piece of rubber between all the body mounts later. But because I'm sitting on metal on the cab, I can sit on metal with the core support, and then later on I'll just raise it up a 1/2 inch or whatever. So but it will all raise up the same way with a 1/2-inch piece of rubber. So anyways, that's what we got right now, and I guess we're on to the next. That's it for this video.